tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
you are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Are people driving you crazy? Do you hate your job, but you're not quite sure what you should do instead? If you have questions like that, then I have great news for you. I'm Dr. Marissa, celebrity host and producer of your 8 a.m. drive time show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And now that we are coming out of this thing called the pandemic, I'm delighted to tell you that our question and answer lines are opening up again. So if you're looking for some answers, solutions, happiness coaching, and advice, first thing in the morning from yours truly, Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, then call 888-909.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Spreaker, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. And it's a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And so I have topics and guests to that end. And I'm so delighted to tell you this is my 546th consecutive week on the air. This is the week that we celebrated 800 forking shows. So today is show number, I believe, 804. And I just am so grateful for all of the support. And I never thank these guys enough, but all of the support I get from my KCAA guys. I just want to take a second to thank my station owner, Fred Lundgren, my station manager, Mark Westwood, my sound engineers, Polly and Sam, all the guys in the background, Joe and Carlos, and who am I missing? Polly. I think I got most. Oh, Rick in the morning. And if I missed you, you know that I could not be doing what I'm doing here at this NBC News radio station without you. And I'm so grateful to have that number 1 8 a.m. slot in the IE. And if you would like to associate your business, your product or service with this show about hope and happiness that they said wouldn't last, that has lasted 9.5 years, please do contact me at drmarissa.life, and then you will be connected so that you can, get listeners who are like-minded and love-hearted, because life is too short to be pissed, to be angry, to be frustrated, to talking about things that are wrong in this world. Instead, I like to balance things out with what is right. And on Monday, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do a recap of this entire week that I've had the privilege and honor and fun of being at the Newport Beach Film Festival. Apparently, I'm on one of their videos, recap videos. I haven't seen it yet, but people have been telling me, I saw you on them. So I'm going to have to go look, but I had such an amazing time. Next year, you'll have to be sure to join me there, and that way we can go party together. I'm also bringing you an interview about Medicare. So that's coming up on my Dr. Marissa Reporting Live show on Monday. But today is Fired Up Friday, and we have Miss Just-in-Time co-host Cynthia Kahi. Welcome to the show. Hold on. Here we go. I successfully stalled just for you. Well, we are so delighted to have you. This is a special series that you all have expressed appreciation for, the lively and positively opinionated hosts on the series called Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
Yoo-hoo! And we've been talking about all matter of things. If you missed any of our shows, we've talked about BS belief systems that help you and hurt you. We've been talking about the importance of goals or not. We've been talking about women in business. And today, the topic is called Encourage Me. And it's one of those topics that I've not heard anyone say. We're going to talk about encouragement. So thank you, Cynthia, for suggesting that. And so I'm sorry, what?
I said, I love it.
Yeah. And before we go launch into that, if you are not driving and listening to the AM 1050 or FM 106.5, but streaming on either the YouTube channel platform, LinkedIn, or Facebook, then you can comment and give us your 8 cents worth on this topic. And I thought this morning, if you have been encouraged by someone and you want to give them some props and kudos and compliments, put them in the chat. And that way we can express some appreciation for them. And that's how we start almost every show here on, take my advice, I'm not using it. It is breakfast. You're having breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Cynthia this morning, and we're going to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And after that, we'll start talking about encouragement. So, Cynthia, you want to take a stab at why we start the day with a gratitude sandwich? Did I warn you?
No, but gratitude is amazing. When you start your day with positivity and you lead from your heart, and then those things perpetuate and you look for those things, and gratitude gives you that warmth. I love gratitude. It changed my life. I didn't do it for my whole life. I mean, I was thankful, and there's, but gratitude, when you really center on it and you really let it really, you know what I mean? Just percolate. You. There you go. There's a good word.
We said at the same time.
Yeah,
that was cool.
When you just let it, keep coming up, and you just focus on it, and you learn. It takes a little bit, but you learn. And it's just like having a rainbow in your heart. That's what I think.
Aww.
It's an amazing gift. It really is.
What's cool is that the graphic of the NBC emblem and the picture behind that are all rainbow. So that's kind of cool.
That is
cool. Yeah. So I like to start with 8. Dr. Wayne Dyer, the beloved teacher who's on the other side, mentioned 5 every morning to keep your day great. I'm a recovering overachiever. And 8 is a homophone for good fortune in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. In Mandarin, we use 8 to symbolize the maximum good fortune you can have with gratitude. So Cynthia gets 4, I get 4. I'll start this morning. I am grateful for another successful 23rd annual Newport Beach Film Festival that I was delighted and honored to be a part of. And I'm exhaustedly happy because the after parties would last until 1. I would get home at 1 and then up at 6 for the show. So I've had a week's worth of 5 hours a night, but usually that's what I get. So I shouldn't, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it'll be nice to sleep in tomorrow morning.
That's right. Are you bragging or are you complaining?
I'm not complaining. I'm in gratitude. And thank you for the compliment, Cynthia, about my little dance thing in my chi pao. I was wearing Chinese traditional dress.
You look fabulous. I love the glow of joy that you give when you're dancing. I love dancing. So when I see you doing it and you're just having a great time, you just let loose. You just let it, right? You do free expression. It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
See?
Thank
There's a
you.
little encouragement right there.
There you go. Starting early. And I am grateful for my ability to dance spontaneously, even though I always remember the first time I took the courage or stupidity, as my children would say, to dance in public. I was at the Queen Mary. It was around Halloween, some party, and the kids were like 7 and 9, and they rounded the corner and they saw me dancing, and that look that crossed their face, I will never forget that look. Like, oh my God, kill me now, my mom's dancing. So that balances out. And they remember it too. And my younger darling said, Mom, that was then. You're fine now. So
Thanks for the encouragement, honey.
that's called a backwards compliment. But anyways, that's 2. Go ahead. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for flowers. I love the beauty of flowers and the joy that it brings. And man, if you get a good one, I want to show you this one because it's amazing. Look at this thing.
Oh, look.
Isn't it beautiful? That. And you know, it's so funny. The ones from a garden versus the ones that you buy in the store. Oh my God. They smell so good. I am grateful for that. It brings me such joy. It brings me such joy.
Yes, for sure. For sure. That's beautiful. I'm grateful for flowers in general.
Yes.
I love that expression, take time to smell the roses, because my big brother teacher, Michael Bernard Beckwith, said that flowers are just evidence of God smiling. Have you heard that before? Isn't that beautiful?
Haven't, but I love it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, really, what use, we don't use it for food. We don't, it's just clearly evidence of beauty and wonder and love. Yeah. So there you go. So I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
And one more.
I am grateful for nourishment in a jar.
Okay.
I have this amazing smoothie that I drink, and it's so good. It's so good. I won't show it to you because everybody doesn't like the way it looks, but it's delicious.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Okay. And that's the top of the bun. And now we go to the bottom of the bun, which is a little different than gratitude. It's called appreciation, and it's specifically self-appreciation. And we can talk about how these all different than encouragement, because I think it's a useful distinction. But appreciation, I ask for you to do every night before you go to bed. So instead of thinking about all the things you didn't get done, or who done you wrong, or what's wrong with the world, if you go to bed that way, you're not going to sleep very well. Promise. But if you go to bed and you focus on the 8 specific things that you like about yourself, you're much likely to have a better night's sleep, wake up in a good mood in the morning, and less likely to walk around with antenna looking for people's approval. Who likes me, literally how many likes me. So that's why we do appreciation. And I'll start again today. I appreciate that I have lost now an all-time high of 31 pounds. So I am so appreciative that I have, even I gained a little weight back. I don't know if I told you, I've been trying to, it's called Project Love Me since Valentine's Day, February 14th. And I started this little journey, and then I had a setback when I went to Canada with the butter tarts. And then I came back and got back on that horse. And so this morning was the first time that I have gone lower than when I left for Canada. So I appreciate my ability to continue to love my body enough to give it some, give my hips some support in less weight. How's that? Hips don't lie. Hips don't lie.
You're a doll. You're a doll.
Thank you.
That's amazing, and congratulations. I appreciate I I appreciate how caring I am. A lot of people aren't, and I appreciate the fact that I can care about somebody else, even myself. Self-care is amazing.
It is. It is. I appreciate that I know when to stop most of the time. 88% of the time.
I appreciate the fact that I can have fun. I appreciate the fact that I can have fun pretty much no matter what. Fun is one of my core values.
I appreciate that I love to play with words and that I like to make up words. And most of the time it makes people laugh. And laughter is my favorite sound in the world.
So funny. I appreciate my patience.
I appreciate. I last time I prayed for patience, I got teenagers, so I don't pray for patience, and it's not even in my vocabulary. So you can carry that for. I have no P word in my vocabulary. I appreciate that I attract good people, good things, good circumstance. My timing is incredible. Especially lately, I've been really focusing on that law of attraction. It's part of my blisscipline, and I appreciate that.
I love
Last
that.
one.
Blisscipline. I love that. I appreciate my passion. Passionate for in many areas. I give it all I've got, passionate about
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I never thought I would meet someone who is just as positively opinionated and passionate as me, but I did. Shout out
that
to
craft
Greg.
thing,
Yes,
right?
it is. It is. Yes. Shout out to Greg Reed. He put us together at Secret Dog. I mean, because of his event. I mean, Cynthia really took the first move to stalk me, which was wonderful. So, positively stalked. All right. And now we are ready for our topic, which is encourage me. So, Cynthia, why are we talking about this? You picked it. Give us the backstory.
Well, I'm doing a lot of things right now. I have a lot of ventures. I just spoke in San Antonio. And the title of my book, if you don't know, is called You Can Do Hard Things. And I think just that statement alone is encouragement for yourself. I hear people saying it all of the time. And I'm not going to take all of the credit, but because I passionately speak and do what I preach, other people see that and hear that and they say, yes, I can. So the encouragement part came about when I started my self-development journey. And I said, I don't really know that I've ever truly been encouraged in a way that will push me. And so I joined this business group and we all started doing it. And the amount of it was energy, but it was more than that. It was I want to say it's love. Like the amount of encouragement that we all gave each other was a kind of love that inspired us, right? It inspired us to do better. It inspired us to know that we could do better. And so encouragement for me, then it turned into a Facebook group of my own because I loved it so much. I was like, wow. It wasn't the fact that I was just getting it. It was that I was giving it as well. I wanted people to do well. I wanted to help people feel like they could do anything. And that's kind of when the whole evolution of You Can Do Hard Things started to come about because I was learning all these new things. And I was like, this stuff is hard. Like learning your inside and then transferring it to your business and how do you do it with your children and things like that. And, it's a beautiful gift. It is a beautiful gift in a very negative world.
Absolutely. And this is why we are focusing on that today, because we do talk about all the ways in which people suck on the news. Sorry, putting the moose on the table here, my Canadian version of elephant in the room. Because if you think about it, 99% of the news is about how people are not encouraging. In fact, they are stealing, killing, raping, molesting, hurting, corrupting. So that's why we're talking about encouragement. And I see the eyeballs rolling in. Welcome to Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
And so we are going to continue talking about encouragement. And I'm going to share what I just pulled up, and I put up encouragement definition. And it says the action of giving someone support, confidence, or hope. Support, confidence, or hope. If you can see that, I don't know if you can see it, Cynthia. I just pulled that up. But I love the way that you just emphasized these, not the support part, which is why when you originally said encouragement, I thought, oh, okay, it's about support, but you're also talking about confidence, and that I think is a very important part of encouragement that we don't necessarily, center on. So when you're encouraging people, you're not giving them a point blank, you're doing great, right? And when I do my work as an organizational psychologist in the workplace, when I do executive coaching with leaders, the one thing I ask them to end saying to their staff and their team is good job. Now that sounds like I'm asking them not to encourage, but good job is not useful as encouragement because people don't know exactly what it was that they did well. And if it's something that you are noticing and rewarding, it's so important to be specific. So you can say good job if you follow it up with, I liked the way that you allowed someone to express their alternative view before you gave yours. Now, if that isn't an encouraging specific that now registers for you, this is something that my boss values. That is such an important thing. Kids, in general, I will say, in their eyes, you can do anything and everything that your heart and mind desires, because that's the encouragement my grade 9 math teacher, JJ Bristow, said to me, because he knew that my home life was not great and he could see it. And that was encouragement in sport. It wasn't so specific. It was a general blanket. And so from that point forward, I say that to every child that I get to see face to face. That's general encouragement. And then specific encouragement to me is that making sure people know, especially if you're mentoring them or they're your staff, specific what it is to help them with their confidence.
Well, it's funny because, you give the two examples, right? But I think that it's a practice like anything else, right? The more you do it, the easier it gets. Then you see it more often, then you do it more often. It's a habit that you create. And when you start to build that habit and you start to give it, then other people look at it and they're like, oh, it is an amazing ripple effect. So even if you're just starting out, I put it like in my, who said this? Randy Garden said this. It was a gratitude thing, but you can extend it to encouragement as well. I really, really think it is so, so important to encourage others for many reasons. One is, like you said, sometime in the home life, you don't get it. Life takes over, and it's just this whirlwind of what am I not doing, or how do I do this, or how do I do that. And so when somebody speaks encouragement into your life and somebody starts to give you those little just seeds, they plant seeds, right? It's, oh, I can do this. Or somebody thinks that I can do this, even if you don't think it in yourself, because somebody didn't plant the seed to tell you that. Because once in a while, you don't have that ability, or you didn't hear it growing up for whatever reason, whether it's the person that you live with, whether a teacher, you tend to focus on the things that aren't positive, and sometimes you get that more often than you do the positive. That's another reason why I started the Facebook group, because I felt like at this level, not just kid level, like I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman with 3 kids and a new business at this time. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I might have bit off more than I can chew. I've never owned a restaurant. And people started saying, yes, you can. And how about this? And I want to help you do this. And kind of just gave me a little push and a little lift. And I was like, wow, I really can do this. And so it's kind of like gratitude, but encouragement changed my life. And then as I heard it more, then I started to give it. And then as people started to feel it, they started to give it. One of my really good friends, I don't know if he's on here, but David, he encourages. He's an amazing encourager. We encourage each other all the time. And if you have a special gift and you don't know what your special gift is, start encouraging people, because it's partly leadership too, in seeing things in people that they don't see in themselves. And I truly believe that leadership, I'm going on a tangent, I'm very sorry. Leadership is a dying breed. So I think it's really, really important that we practice these things. And sometimes, again, we just need somebody to plant the seed and say, wow, encouragement is amazing. And yes, I can.
Yes, absolutely. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering who these 2 very shy, negative people are on your screen or in your ear, you are tuned into Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi
on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we're not going to take a break quite yet. I just wanted to do the station ID because I want you to actually put name names. I want you to name names. I want to use this show also as a place that we can acknowledge people who have been an important encourager in our life, because we don't do that very often. We focus on what we want from people. We don't necessarily express appreciation, or it's never enough. So I know it totally makes my day when I get a message or someone stops me and tells me how much they appreciate me, or how encouraging I have been, or how they've been able to do something in their life because I believed in them. So Cynthia did David, I did JJ Bristow. If there's anyone else, please put it in the chat and we'll put it up here on the screen to memorialize them. I know that there are at least 6 out of 10 other people, because I'm the 7th out of 10, who did not grow up with encouragers in my bio family. And one of the beautiful coping mechanisms that kids who've had trauma is they learn to look to others. So if you are one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, and you are feeling a little sorry for yourself because you didn't have natural cheerleaders in your bio family, I can remember many times saying, I thought moms were supposed to think you're the most beautiful. Why does my mom keep saying I'm ugly or fat? And that chip on my shoulder grew into a bigger chip, always thinking that I got the short end of the stick and life isn't fair. And it did not serve me well as a BS belief system. So if you're there and you're still there, I would ask you today to take a breath and start a new day, knowing that you can choose people in life who are your encouraging team. You do not have to keep going to the tractor for milk. I know many of my coaching clients keep going to people who will never approve of them, looking for approval. And that's why I call it going to the tractor for milk. Stop going to the tractor for milk. Look for people around you who are not related to you, who have paid you compliments, who are kind to you, and make them the captain of your cheerleading team. That's the power that you have.
And it's a good point too, because I learned to seek, right? I think it's interesting, the game of life, the journey, right? The adventure, the amazing gift of growth, right? Tagline for my book is to be proactive with your growth and not reactive with your life. The reason why I came up with that is because you have all of the power inside of you. You just haven't unlocked it. You go with what you know. So when you seek new information, that's the time where you learn those little things. Where I was here in California and I wasn't getting what I needed. I didn't understand where I was at. I actually figured it out. I've understood. I was like, okay, well, I've reached my lid, right? And I don't know where to go from here. So I saw something that sparked my attention. It was the 10X community in Grant Cardone. And then it got me to start thinking bigger. And once I changed what I thought, then it changed how I thought. And it's still one of the best practices that I echo to everyone, because you just have to seek new information. Don't just take what's given to you. Don't react to the things that are constantly in your face, front of you. You have to go out and learn to just seek the new information. Every day I learn, and every day I get better.
Good mantra. Yeah. And reaction is making you a jerk. Knee-jerk reaction is a perfect description of what that does. So we are going to take a break now, because we have a couple of sponsors I'd like to thank who make the show possible. If you would like to be a sponsor of this particular series, we're always looking for like-minded, love-hearted sponsors. Then please do contact me at drmarissa.life for very affordable rates, starting at $100. So good value for your marketing dollar. We'll be right back on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi,
here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Want delicious Vietnamese Asian fusion cuisine that is so good for your health you won't believe your taste buds? Olac is a 100% plant-based vegan restaurant founded by Mai on living foods and a love for animals that won't make you sacrifice taste for health. 2 locations to delight you, downtown LA and Fountain Valley. So go to www.olac.com, AULAC, to book your reservation today. Saving the planet has never tasted so good.
And that's why I created this group, to help everyone raise their awareness and level. Look, Dr. Marissa's going to join us.
And let's go back in.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News radio station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you can get an alert every forking weekday morning at 8 a.m. to tune in to a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk at all, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And today it is time for my special Friday series, Get Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi
here on this fabulous network. And you can also watch and listen as we stream on that YouTube channel. So you'll want to go there and interact with us today. The topic is Encourage Me. And that's what we are talking about. You'll also be able to get my playlist, my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, The Temptations, a little name dropping there. But I have had the privilege of interviewing some pretty amazing people. I just interviewed the director of a wonderful film called Ruby's Choice that Jane Seymour was in. And the director, Michael Budd, and I accidentally met yesterday. Hashtag not accidentally.
Right.
And he said that he would invite Jane Seymour onto this show, and he thinks that it's a good possibility, which would be amazing. But isn't she fabulous? And it was a beautiful movie about I don't know. Your mom's probably still younger. My mom just celebrated 88 years, and she's got Parkinson's, and you know her body is just breaking down. And when people age, it's not fun and it's not easy to watch. So Ruby's Choice is actually Jane Seymour plays a grandma who has dementia, and to help understand that process. And 50% of the proceeds to that film go towards research and all of that. So I'm so grateful to support that movie. Go get it. It's got great reviews, and there's a little sprinkle of funny in there as well. And you will tear up at the end, and that's okay, because tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. So there's a commercial for Ruby's Choice, and I did come up with that one. But we're talking about who's encouraged you and how important is encouragement. So we're also hello on my Cynthia's Instagram to all those people. You can see her at Cynthia Kahi on Instagram. Hi, Vincent Foster, NG. Oh, Queen Bonita's there. That is my buddy from Alan. Is the daughter of the founder of the Temptations, and Queen Bonita is the cousin, and I love them both very much. And so thank you for joining. So Cynthia, let's flip it now. We've been talking about how we've been encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
So let's flip it to how do we become better encouragers to give back?
You know, I realized how it made me feel inside when people encouraged me. So in all honesty, I just started doing it. I saw something in a person, and I just it accentuated that. I gave them the positives on what they do when they're doing it, because I feel like again, a lot of people don't want to celebrate other people, right? And so in the business world, when I first started, it was a lot of, and I'm a woman business owner, and you know, you got to have some tough skin. You got to have some tough skin. So the encouragement, like I said, what it feels like for me to actually be encouraged. So then I started to flip it around to the people that I saw were doing amazing things. And I thought, well, shoot, we too often don't recognize and actually verbalize it and say it to them. And remember how powerful our words are, right? So if they're not saying it to themselves or they're not hearing it from somebody else, then that is the absolutely amazing gift of hearing it from somebody else. And if it's a friend, right? Or even if it's somebody you don't know, just think about the power, right? You're giving yourself by sharing it with them, and then what you're giving to them by showing them and telling them that you see it in them. The encouragement, right? To keep doing the good things, not
Absolutely.
focusing on maybe I made a mistake, maybe I didn't do it right the first, second, or third time. But what am I doing right? How am I doing the good things? And are people seeing those good things? Encouragement is fuel for the the things where you really think you can't do. You know, again, the business world, it can get pretty, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. On Wednesday, on my other series with Colette Tracy, it's Real Women Talk, and we were talking specifically about why is it that women in particular have such a difficult time supporting other women, and that perception of the catty women, and the claws come out, and I have to be honest too. When someone does something or gets acknowledged or applauded, I don't necessarily, right away go, "Oh, isn't that great?" My knee jerk, literally, reaction is, "Well, how come I didn't get that, or how come I wasn't asked that?" And I'm bagging on myself because it's something that I'm working on. It's something that I force myself to go and find someone to compliment, find someone to encourage, because we've got to break that habit. I don't know where that came from. Could be because, they say culturally, if you believe in all that, hunters and gatherers, the woman wants to be the one selected to be with the guy and all that baloney stuff. But I don't know where it came from, but I do know it needs to be fixed. We as women in particular, especially women business owners, and I can't remember where I learned this, could be from Greg, that when you meet someone, instead of launching into your elevator speech, it is instead to say, "How can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I encourage you?" And when you say that, it makes the interaction completely different. And that person then feels, most of the time, unless they're just a taker and not a giver, those don't count. But it sets up a dynamic where you do want to help them too, because they offered to help you first. I don't know, when people come up to me and say, "How can I help you?" I'm like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I'm not being sold down the river. I'm actually being, and I'll tell you, the first 3 or 4 times someone said that to me, I was like, what do you really want? Be honest with me. And I also want to point out, I love the fact that somebody or a few people on Instagram, I've always wanted to have a live where people are doing hearts. I just love that. So thank you. I saw the hearts go by and I didn't comment. All right. Well, go ahead.
Nice. It's love. Well, it's funny. So what I was going to say about that is, again, it's perspective, right? It's always a dog eat dog world, right? It's always, I got to get to the top first, or I got to do this first, or I got to do, you know what I mean? You're always in that rat race of who's going to get there first. I totally changed my perspective, because when somebody told me that, and I said to myself, what can I actually give to this situation rather than take from this situation? You empower yourself in a way that is 10 times better than trying to achieve that first place. I mean, that's the way I think of it. I'm helping somebody else get what they want, right? Or help them see the things by opening that up. rather than focusing on what I want. Because I'm confident enough to know now that whatever I attract, whatever I focus on, that's what I'm going to achieve, right? Whatever you put your attention in, that's where you put your focus. That's where your energy goes, right? I forget the
Law of
actual
attraction.
saying. Yeah.
Law of attraction.
But I want to encourage everybody who's listening right now to really flip it. Don't think about it's always about me, because again, we talked about this in a different episode. It's all about me. It's not all about me, right? Because humankind, right? Being kind to other humans, you put it out, you'll get it back, right? I think it's an amazing circle of when you give and it comes back. But if we start
Circle of life.
yes, it's the circle of life. And when we give it, when we learn how valuable it is, and the emotion that goes with it, the power in it, I don't see why everybody doesn't do it. That's why I thought it was so important. The encouragement factor. I did want to ask you one quick question. Who encouraged you to take this avenue of your career, of your vocation? Who encouraged you? I'm just curious.
Sure. Which vocation? I have 6.
Well, the one we're on right now, which is speaking.
The media?
Yeah, and media, and having your own talk show. You know, it's a big commitment too.
Yeah. Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it was definitely not from my family, and because no criticism, but the Chinese culture is very clear that you don't want to stand out. Okay, you don't stand out. If you stand out, the nail that stands up is hammered down. On top of that, I'm a woman, and that's like really bad. And it's funny because I still have family who are embarrassed by me. If you ask them what I do, they'll not point out the media side. They'll point out the fact that I have a PhD, because that's what's honorable, not in psychology, because that's dishonorable, because that's like head weird stuff. It was only till just recently that China actually approved mental health as something that you could talk about and treat. Okay, so this is I had a cousin who would not let his daughter talk to me because she expressed an interest in going into the field of psychology, and that is yes. So just so you know, that psychology and then media on top of that is like stripping. Like this, being on camera is like stripping. So the encouragement was not from my cultural family. All right, Now, at the same time, the one person who encouraged me to do this was actually, I will say, I call him my UPS man, my universal power source, who whispered in my ear or woke me up at 4:30 in the morning and said, radio. I literally, it was not from someone said to me, you should do radio. Nobody said you should do radio. Somebody said, you have a face for radio, just kidding. But no person actually encouraged me to do radio except for that voice. However, a student of mine in my UCLA, when I taught at UCLA in the Anderson School, came up to me after class and said, I love your teaching. You're like Robin Williams and Dead Poets Society, standing on the table and being very animated, and love your lectures, but your talents are wasted and you should be in front of a camera. So he was encouraging. I don't even remember his name. I hate to say that, but he introduced me to his father, who was a producer, and I started doing TV commentary. And that was the opening event. And once I started doing that, then I had friends. I had people who, just strangers, would say, you're really good. I had guests on the show who would say, wow, you're, the best compliment I got were from people like Rick O'Berry, who's the dolphin activist, who's been on Larry King Live and Oprah. And he said, you're the best interview I've ever been with. And that was huge, as well as Ron Klein said the same thing. He's been interviewed so many. So people, my guests, I would say, were the most encouraging of what I did. But I had to let go of the shame. And I think Rachel Lang was the astrologer that came on my show, who she was single-handedly the most important person, because she told me I was a Leo in 5 planets. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, you can't help yourself. You have to be in front of the camera. You have to be first. You have to open your mouth. You have to say and speak. And I went, oh, I had literally an 8,000-pound piano on my back, oppressing my voice, because every time I would speak, I would follow it up with the shame of feeling like I broke the heart of all of my ancestors by being vocal. And I lost that oppression on that day, on my birthday, seven years ago. Yeah,
really?
On the show.
Just 7 years ago. But again, bringing it full circle, right? You seek, right? And then what happens is you attract. You're opening yourself up to looking at those new avenues. And you are, in all honesty, the way I am hearing it is, in your life, you knew you were meant to do something else. And then all of a sudden, the more you started thinking about it, then what happens? Then it starts attracting to you and it starts making its way. You planted the seed, your UPS man planted the seed, somebody planted the seed, and then it just kept little drops of water. And then all of a sudden, ta-da!
Asian Oprah. And for those of you who think I made that name up, I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. And thank you all for tuning in. I see more people below the surface. Don't knows. Oh, she said, super awesome, ladies. Thank you so much. You are the master encourager, Cynthia from Doe Knows. And hello, XX Rays, Twin Archer, AMC
a lot
Flooring.
of amazing people on here. I want to give a shout out to
that.
His name is John Doe, and he is an amazing encourager. And you know what's really interesting is too, make it practice. What I want to leave everybody who's listening today, anybody who's tuned in, if you haven't tried to encourage other people, if you don't know how to encourage other people, just start with a compliment. Just start with a compliment and say, wow, somebody totally you don't even know, in the grocery store, at the gas station, picking up food at a restaurant. Oh my gosh, hi, I love your hair. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing sweater. Just start with those little things. And then the more you do it, it will evolve. Then you'll actually notice and see things about other people, and it will get you to see things about yourself as well.
Absolutely.
So encouragement, practice encouragement. Do it 3 times today. That's what I'm going to leave you with. If you are listening right now, please give encouragement in the form of a compliment if you haven't quite mastered encouragement, or if you know how to encourage yourself or others, do it 3 times today. See the
Perfect challenge, perfect last words. We're running up against the end of the show. I call it drive-by compliments. Don't wait for a reaction. Just compliment them 3 times is the challenge for 8 consecutive days. If you're able to do it, come on next week and we'll give a prize to somebody, whoever is able to say, I was encouraging for 3 encouragements a day for 8 consecutive days, and I will give you an Asian Oprah giveaway. Remind me, Cynthia, to do that next week. And encourage yourself. I think that's my final word. The most important person to encourage is yourself, because if you can't encourage yourself, how the fork can you expect other people to encourage you?
That's right.
And that is, it always goes fast, doesn't it, Cynthia? You've been tuned into Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Kahi.
And just know that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world. Peace through inner peace now. Go forth and have the best encouraging weekend ever. Thanks.
Aww.